Tonight, another Australian soldier killed in Afghanistan.
The unit has lost 2 of their mates in a very short period of time.
Libya's troops accused of turning their guns on protesters. The Premier's popularity jumps as a new cabinet's revealed.
I'm not a poll-driven Premier.
And the Reds forced to dig deep, starting their season with success. Good evening, Anne Kruger with ABC News. A lethal Taliban ambush has killed another Australian soldier in Afghanistan, the second this month. The 21-year-old was shot last night. An Afghan interpreter died with him. The Prime Minister and Defence Force Chief have praised the digger as a courageous young Australian.
Not even a week since the funeral of Australia's 22nd combat death, one more has fallen, and from the very same regiment.
The unit has lost 2 of their mates in a very short period of time.
The 23rd to die was the victim of an ambush in the Mirabad Valley region. Patrolling in rugged terrain, sapper Jamie Ronald Larkham was shot and killed. He was just 21 years old.
Jamie Larkham died taking the fight to insurgents.
The attack also claimed the life of an Afghan interpreter.
Our hearts go out to all of our brave military personnel.
Jamie Larkham grew up on South Australia's Kangaroo Island before joining his Darwin-based regiment. His partner Rhiannon is now mourning his loss. He's pictured here with his 3 younger sisters.
He was a quiet achiever who worked hard. He was courageous and professional. Our nation should mourn the loss of this fine young Australian.
And prepare for worse to come. Once Afghanistan's winter freeze thaws, the violence is tipped to increase.
We have to steel ourselves for further fatalities and further casualties.
I am immeasurably sad, but I am certainly very determined to see the mission through.
The month ahead could prove crucial for NATO and its allies. Defence ministers meet again to chart the path towards handover, and the Prime Minister will discuss the war in person at the White House in a fortnight. Hayden Cooper, ABC News, Canberra.
Demands for regime change grow louder by the day in North Africa and the Middle East. Some leaders are calling for dialogue, but others have ordered brutal crackdowns, and the death toll is rising dramatically. In North Africa, Morocco, Algeria and Libya are under siege. In the Middle East, the uprising has spread across Yemen, Jordan, Bahrain, Iraq, Iran, Kuwait and Syria. But as Ben Worsley reports, international concern is focusing on Tripoli tonight, with reports the Libyan leader is using massive force to smash the protests. Back home, Anna Bligh has unveiled the new portfolios in a major cabinet reshuffle as her government gears up for disaster reconstruction. Her performance during January's wild weather has given the Premier a huge boost in the opinion polls, but the opposition says she's making mistakes with her new lineup. The Queensland government has signed a contract for the first new suburban rail line in Brisbane since 1918. The extension of the line from Richlands to Springfield was brought forward by 2 years in last year's budget, and now it's going to be significantly cheaper too.
And what we'll see is the whole project delivered for $470 million, $171 million cheaper than we originally anticipated.
The new line is expected to reduce traffic congestion in the Western Corridor, providing reliable public transport for fast-growing communities like Springfield, with its population of 18,000 people. Well, when it comes to movies, big is not always best. Thousands of people are in Sydney's Domain tonight for Tropfest, the world's largest short film festival. 16 amateur filmmakers will be vying for prizes that could launch their professional careers. The event is being watched by film buffs in Sydney and at other live sites across the country. Last year's winner says the competition has given his career a huge boost.
People kind of take me a little bit more seriously now that I have the sort of Tropfest winner behind my name. So it's just, it's made it easier for me to kind of keep going with the difficulties of trying to make a living doing this sort of stuff in Australia.
All the Tropfest films must feature this year's signature item, a key. To sport now, and the Brisbane Roar are in the box seat to host the A-League Grand Final after disposing of the Central Coast Mariners in Gosford last night. 2 second-half goals in the first leg of the major semi-final were enough to extend the club's unbeaten run to 26 games. In today's elimination final, the Gold Coast had to wait until injury and time to finally sneak past Melbourne victory. In Brisbane, the Roar returned home needing just a draw next Saturday to qualify for the Grand Final. The Queensland Reds have come from behind to defeat the Western Force in a thriller at Lang Park. In South Africa, the defending champion Bulls beat the Lions while the Sharks accounted for the Cheetahs. Last night, the Brumbies held on to win over the Chiefs, while the Reds held on to win in a nail-biter. The Brisbane Broncos have notched up a solid win over the North Queensland Cowboys at a pre-season match in Alice Springs. Broncos star Justin Hodges played his part in the 22-point win in his first match in 18 months after injury. Well, weather time now, and the hot weather lived up to expectations in Queensland today. In the north, Cairns was mostly sunny and a top of 33. Townsville cloudy though and 31. It was hot in the west with temperatures of 39 degrees for Longreach, Birdsville, Bedouria and Windora. But the highest maximum of 40 degrees was shared in the south by St George and Mitchell. Toowoomba reached 33 and Coolangatta 32 degrees. The heat and humidity was felt in Brisbane, where it reached a sunny 35 degrees, 36 in Ipswich. The radar shows patchy thunderstorm and shower activity today. Horn Island recording 27 millimetres, Musgrave 14. Elsewhere, falls were 10 millimetres or less till 3 p.m. And in the 24 hours to 9 a.m, Cowan Downs Station recorded 55 millimetres, with falls in the 30s for Daintree and Lockhart River. On the satellite, the monsoon trough is very weak over North Queensland. A surface trough lies over far southwestern parts of the state and is moving slowly east to extend from the northern Channel Country to the Darling Downs by this evening. Interstate tomorrow, showers for Sydney, Canberra, Melbourne and Hobart, sunny in Perth and an afternoon storm for Darwin. On the chart, the inland surface trough should stretch from the northwest to the southern interior, while a strong high in the Great Australian Bight will push a strong and cool southerly wind change over southeast Queensland, most likely arriving tomorrow afternoon or evening. To the warnings, there's a severe thunderstorm warning for damaging wind and large hailstones for people in parts of the Channel Country, Maranoa, Warrego, Darling Downs and Granite Belt. And there's a coastal waters wind warning and strong wind warning for Cape Moreton to Point Danger, and that includes Moreton Bay. And the flood warnings remain current for western Queensland rivers. In the north tomorrow, scattered showers and thunderstorms over the northern tropics, central highlands and central coast. A shower or two for Cairns and a top of 32. Thunderstorms with gusty winds for Bundaberg. In the west, temperatures in the mid to high 30s, showers and thunderstorms later contracting to the northeast and out of the Channel Country. In the southeast, a hot and humid Monday with active showers and storms near and ahead of the change over southeast districts. Hot temperatures and gusty storms stretching from the Darling Downs to the Gold and Sunshine Coast. Brisbane's heading for a top of 33 with showers and gusty afternoon storms. On the bay, southeasterly winds to increase to 25 to 30 knots and seas are still high, 1.5 metres. Sunrise is at 5:35 a.m. Now the week ahead, Tuesday windy with showers, 28 degrees. Possible showers midweek, mostly sunny by Friday. And that's all in the weather. Now, a quick recap of tonight's main story. A 21-year-old Australian soldier has been shot and killed by Taliban insurgents in Afghanistan. And that's ABC News for this Sunday. Thanks for joining us from the team here. Good night.